Crying Boy is a mass-produced painting and exists in several forms. The subject is a boy ranging in age from 4 to 10 years old. His clothing and the painting style differ depending on what period the artist has set him in. The Jinx story seems to have been started by the Sun newspaper in 1985 and went from strength to strength with all sorts of reasons. The boy was a Romany whose family placed a curse. The boy was an orphan. The boy himself had died in a fire, etc. One version of the myth is that the original Crying Boy picture was a portrait painted by a Spanish artist and that the subject was an orphan. The artist's studio burnt down and the boy himself was later killed in a car crash. Psychics claimed the boy's spirit was trapped in the painting and that the curse extends to all the many different versions of the painting. The curse apparently only affects those who are aware that the painting is cursed. Hardly surprising, since any subsequent misfortune would get blamed on the painting. On the 4th of September 1985, the Sun ran a story reporting that the Crying Boys were jinxed. Yorkshire fireman Peter Hall was quoted as saying that unscathed copies of the Crying Boy were frequently found at the scenes of fires. He and his colleagues were serious enough about this to vow never to allow the painting into their homes. Peter's own brother, Ron Hall, from South Yorkshire, had ignored this warning. Fire damaged his kitchen and living room, but the Crying Boy in the living room was unscathed. The jinxed painting was destroyed by his family. The following issue, September 1985, reported a flood of calls about the Crying Boy jinx. It reported several cases. Dora Mann from Surrey, whose house was completely gutted by fire only 6 months after buying the Crying Boy painting. All of her paintings were destroyed except the Crying Boy. Sandra Krask from Kilburn, her sister-in-law and a friend had all bought the Crying Boy paintings and all had suffered fires soon after. Mrs. Krask had even seen the jinx painting swinging from side to side. Linda Fleming from Leeds and Jane McCutcheon from Nottingham both had fires where the Crying Boy survived unharmed. Janet White from the Isle of Wight heard about the jinx and tried to burn her 2 copies of the Crying Boy, but they would not catch fire. Rather than conclude that fire retardant materials or physical location enabled the Crying Boy prints to survive, there was a rash of reports about the Crying Boys linked to fires and surviving the fires themselves. The dates given are report dates, not incident dates, but people who were reporting events which had happened previously and probably forgotten about the real causes of the fires, for example unattained cookers, dropped cigarettes, etc. What they did remember is that they had suffered a fire and that they had owned a copy of the Crying Boy painting. For example, students in a shared house, the location wasn't given, they had a cellar fire in 1984. Well before the story in the Sun, which destroyed everything in the cellar they owned except the Crying Boy. However, the story goes on. There have been reports of the Crying Boy painting being found in charred homes untouched since 1985 and as recent as 1988. No one knows for sure who the artist might be and where he got the idea to paint a portrait of a Crying Boy. The rumours are many and the tale is still around. The fact is, beware if you find a beautiful painting of a sad little boy. In conclusion, I'm not sure if this is real or whether it's just some sort of scam, but one thing is for sure, I'm not going to be putting one of those paintings up in my house anytime soon. I'll let you decide for yourself.